Welcome. Thank you for clicking on Bath Astronomers, Astro Shorts for stargazers and amateur astronomers. I'm Simon Holbeach and I'm part of a local group helping people get the most out of the night sky. These bite-sized Astro Shorts are intended to give an overview and get you started, whether it be finding your way around the night sky, using astronomical kit, or perhaps software to steer your telescope, take some images or process them afterwards. This particular guide is all about Stellarium Web, a free online tool that helps you find your way around the night sky. We're quite often asked, I saw an object last night, it was in the south, what could it be? Or I want to know what's happening in the night sky next month. And we regularly recommend people go to a site called Stellarium.org and download a piece of software called Stellarium, which allows them to go around the night sky and find out what's happening to their heart's content, and to sort of study where the particular objects are in the night sky. But for a lot of people, this download is not practical. It could be a work laptop, it could be a school laptop or computer where you're not allowed to download things. And so wouldn't it be great if we could do the same in a browser without downloading anything onto our machine? And there is indeed, and that's Stellarium Web, which I want to show you now. Let's click onto it. Okay, so the first thing we do is we want to go and visit Stellarium. So let's type that into Google. And we see that we got Stellarium Astronomy Software as our top option. So let's go to that. And the site is stellarium.org. Very busy page, but we're most interested in the banner at the top where it has all the different downloads and links. So if you've got a Linux computer, a Mac computer, a Windows computer, whether it be 32 or 64-bit, or it's got this additional one, which is Stellarium Web. All these other ones download a piece of software, and that might not be what you want to do. But Stellarium Web is just a link. And if we take that, we go to stellarium-web.org, and now we've got a planisphere all opened up in our browser, no downloads. So that should be kind of good. So let's see what we can do with it. So first of all, I want to just check around the screen. Now, we're not using the full page, so I'm going to go down to this bottom menu here and just click the item on the right to get the full screen. And I've got a pane on the left here, which isn't showing me much information. I can get a pane on the right by just clicking Observe up in the right-hand corner. We've got some information at the top of the screen, and we've got these options at the bottom. So let's start cleaning things up a bit. I'll remove that left pane and I'll remove that right pane. And now we've got our clear view to look around. We have N for north indicated. We have west indicated on our view, and east. The dark is the land, and then of course we've got the night sky above. I can use my mouse to move around. So if I simply click on the right button on my mouse, hold it down and then drag left and drag right, then I get to see the night sky, and I can move, and there I'm looking to the south with an S at the bottom, I'm looking to the east, I'm looking to the north and to the west. Not only left and right, I can drag up and down. So doing the same thing, left button down, drag, and I can actually see what's above my head as well. So that's all very useful to move around and look. And this is for in a particular place I'm looking from on the Earth and at a particular time. And these are the things that perhaps we might want to change. So if we look down in the bottom left-hand corner, here is actually our location on the Earth. And if I click on it, it's automatically found using auto location. Quite clever, but perhaps we want to, it's either wrong or perhaps we want to set it for another place. So if I was going to go on holiday to Madrid, I could do a search on Madrid, and I could then use Madrid as my location. And now it'll actually show me the night sky as if I was based in Madrid. Now I'm based in Bath, so I'm going to switch the auto locate back on again. And the other thing I said is you could vary the time, and that's what we do on the bottom right. So we click on that, and it's got today's date, it's got a time. Now if it's daylight currently, it'll actually shift it into the nearest night time. And it's got a few other functions in there. So I can actually go later on, in the night just by clicking the button, or I can go for days forward, so I could go a whole week ahead, and I can also just go back to the current time, which is what this sort of little reverse clock. So I click that and it takes me actually to what is the time right now. It happens to be in the afternoon, and this helps me show what this little bar at the bottom does. The light blue is for daylight, and then it shows me going into twilight, into darkness, and then into the morning sky. So I can just hold and drag the blue dot, and I'm actually just time warping, as it were, through the night. And this is what I'd see if I'm looking, in this case, pretty much easterly, and it takes me all the way through to dawn. And immediately I can see that if I were very lucky and I had a nice low horizon, I could see that Jupiter and Saturn were available to see. Okay, so that's very useful. Find your way around. So we can do the time here, and we can do the location elsewhere. The other thing we've got on here is additional buttons on the bottom. So let me take you through there. So let's go a little more useful time. So let's get some constellations up, and I'm going to spin round so that we're looking south. So some of the constellations will hopefully be a little more familiar to people. A bit more reasonable time. So let's go for 8 o'clock tonight. And I'm going to start looking at some of these other options. So on the left hand side, I've got the lines of the constellation. So I click on that and I see all the familiar lines of the constellation. But if they're not familiar to me, I've got the artwork for the constellations as well. So that actually shows me what I'm imagining when I see those lines. And just by clicking on and clicking off, I can switch these particular bits and pieces on and off. The other things I can do are I can turn the deep sky objects on and off. So these are galaxies, nebula. So if I'm particularly interested, you don't see too many, but they're indicated usually by blue circles. So if I switch off and just whiz in, you'll see that we've got one there, there's another one here, there's another one here, and these are deep sky objects, and I can switch them on and switch them off in my view. So that's very useful. I can switch off the effects of the atmosphere, so I get a sort of a clearer view, but really we will see with the atmosphere. And I can also switch off the landscape, and so I'm now hanging in space. Other useful bits and pieces, I can put on a grid, so I can find out how high something is in the sky. So I can find out that the star Sirius and the star Rigel are 20 degrees in the sky. And I can also look on other forms of position. So this is right ascension and declination as well, so those different grids. And if I was to take this outside, and perhaps I wanted to have a look but not ruin my dark adaptation, then I'll click on night mode here, and the whole screen turns red. And this allows me to have a look at, say, my laptop screen without ruining my night vision too much. Another useful feature is search at the top. So if I type moon, it gives me an option of the moons and click to, and it'll actually take me to the moon. But this also brings up the additional information. And if I click on any object in the sky, I can get the additional information on it as well. So I don't need to be an expert about everything in the sky. I can find out what I need to just by whizzing around. So that's all really good. Other things I can do is, there is something useful in this left hand panel. If I click planets tonight, and if it wants to play, then it'll show me in yellow when something is visible. So I can see the moon is visible tonight because it's into the dark area, and Mars is visible tonight, and just as we saw, Jupiter and Saturn are just coming up, so they're great. And the other thing I can see, if I close down this menu on this side and go to observe, is I can go to calendar, and I can see all the stuff that's coming up this month I might be interested in, and I can also look forward in time to the events that might be happening in a few months from now. The other thing I didn't mention is I'm whizzing in and out, and that's done with the mouse wheel. And so if I roll away, then it gets zooms out, and if I roll in, we zoom in. So there we have a very short introduction to a very useful piece of software called Stellarium Web, and I hope you find it very useful. Thank you for watching Bath Astronomers Astro Shorts. Please come back soon and see our other Astro Shorts, or if you have any ideas for things that you would like us covered in these types of videos, just drop us a comment and we'll see what we can do for you. Thanks for coming.